indicator fly. What I like about these wolves are it's imperative that you have these constructed so that they float well. And I'm using calf tail for the wing, and I'm intentionally not tying it well stacked, so it's got a lot of different areas that can catch water and a little bit of capillary action, because it actually floats right into this section right below the hook shank. And the same way with the tail, I tie it intentionally ratty. And you notice all the hackles jammed in and tight and either going straight down or forward, so it's cocked out like that. I believe that probably gives you a little bit better float. So that after that, I have, I'd say, about 2.5 feet of dropper coming right off the hook shank down to a piece of shot. And I'm judging that as to, the depth and the speed. And the way I like to work it is I probably start maybe a little bit light, and then I can keep adding. If you put too much on right away and you're getting hung on the bottom, it's harder to take all the shot off. And I'm just going with a little bit of a pheasant tail bead with some heat and thorax, and then a classic English wet pattern with some furnace hackle and peacock and a little bit of red tag on there. So we're going to try to go pretty much all natural and a little small nymph look, instead of going with some of the go-to patterns down here, which are eggs and green weenies and stuff like that. It just seems to be a little bit more, I don't know, it just feels better when you catch them on that kind of stuff. So
gotcha.
In regard to your approach, obviously we're going to fish from downstream up, and there's fish in this entire run, but the heart of it is basically from that bank where the stones are, that mid-ripple boulder, all the way up through, primarily right from the middle of the stream to the far bank. You can imagine that if you were a piece of food coming down off that dam, you would probably end up somewhere in that channel. And that's, a concentration of food for the fish. So the fish know by, working things out in the stream as to how much aquatic food flow is coming to them. So, that's the heart of it. You can catch fish on little side things. It depends how thorough you want to fish. But, if you want to just go right at it and say you don't have a lot of time and you want to fish a section of pocket water in Spruce Creek or anywhere even out in Montana, I think fishing nymphs in pockets and runs like this are going to be a higher percentage than fishing in flat water, which is a lot more methodic. It can be done, but so anyway, we're going to go into here, and I judge the depth. It's an easy way to do it. So you figure that water's about that high, so you can just take your indicator, or in this case your dry fly, and that's about 1 1/4 the depth of what the actual average depth is out there. So that's an easy way to judge it. I think 1 1/4 the depth to maybe 1 1/2, but you don't want to go any further than that, because there's a little bit of sort of displacement with the water pulling the nymphs along and with the dry fly. So if you're up a little bit too far, I like to get right down on the bottom. So now, in here, one thing that when you're approaching a pool like this or a run, you might be better off to consider casting off your left shoulder. So when you cast off your left shoulder, nothing changes. If you're casting this way, you're leading with your knuckles and pushing with your thumb. And so you just rotate over here and you're still leading with your knuckles and pushing with your thumb. That way you have a good solid base for your forward cast and your back cast.
And you said you're starting with a light split shot, and you'll move heavier if it needs it.
I'm going to judge to see if I'm getting down. And basically, when you're fishing this dry dropper, if you're familiar with fishing regular dries, it's a similar concept, because you figure if that dry fly is floating along drag-free, the nymph should be floating along drag-free underneath them. So that's what you want to accomplish. And that lots of times means throwing just a little slack in the fore part of your leader to cushion against drag. off.
All right, take two.
Take two. Boy, did that one chew me up. I took it on the chin big time. So anyway, got re-rigged, and what I did, I pretty much set similar rig, but instead of going with a little piece of shot, I just went with a little heavier bead on the first fly. So. One thing that often we run into when we're trying to explain how to nymph or just get any kind of fly fishing is what you do with your left hand, and just focus on what my left hand does after I make the cast. And immediately put the line on the cord and strip as it comes to you. That way you have you're controlling the slack on the way down so that you can strike and you'll have a shot at connecting with the fish. Create your English wet fly. Sweet.
An oldie but a goodie.
He ate it pretty strong too. You could see the fly jump. With regard to distance, as far as how far away you can fish, that's just a matter of you want to play it so you're not spooking the fish. Obviously the fish right here, I think they'd be gone. And a lot of guys make that mistake. They come in and start fishing right here, and those fish are gone. So, you kind of play it, where they feel a little bit more comfortable. They don't know you're there. One way I heard it explained, which was really cool by Lee Wolf, he said, like on the Serengeti, there's lions and there's, gazelles or, animals of prey. And they always have this zone that they feel comfortable within. And otherwise the gazelles would just be running around like crazy all the time, scared. But the lions are over there 500 yards away, so they're cool. Once they get closer, they get a little bit jumpy. So, you want to think in terms of stealth when you're fishing. And, if anything, err on trying to stay a little bit back or away from the fish, because obviously they're facing into the current here. So, their vision is pretty much like right out to here and forward. They can't really see too much back that way. So. And don't fish with moss on your fly. I've yet to catch one when I knew that there was moss on it. And actually, it's when you are fishing nymphs, it's a good thing to constantly check and be aware of that, because I have seen some guys fish for quite a while with stuff on their leader or a tangle, so that's something you want to look at all the time. All right, I was getting back to what you do with your left hand, and if you can, as soon as the flies are on the water or a little bit before when they get on the water, I make this move like this right into my middle finger and strip. Otherwise, if you just make a cast and you have everything static right here, if you can see, everything's going to be starting to pile up, and I have a giant belly in my line, so it's going to be hard to strike the fish. That's just a simple move of line control. Right like this. And I like to fish into my cast, keep my rod pointed at the fly as it comes down to you, and you want to come at the same pace that the fly's coming down the water.
Yeah, looks that way.
Fishing here are actually pretty darn quick, so you gotta pay attention to it. He tries to get underneath every rock. He knows his home pool, and he knows where he can hide. He's gonna try to run me off. He's still full of life water's nice and cold.
Looks like he ate the top fly that time.
He might have, yeah. No, I think he ate yours. I see the bead. We're going to have to outlaw that fly here. Just want to keep some tension on him. If he wants to go, let him go. Keep the rod angle about at this position. If you point your rod straight at him, he's just fighting against the leader and you can break it off. So you want him to fight against the string of the rod. Strong fish. This is where you should have a net, actually. I always have one, it's in the car. It's amazing how strong these fish will be. I can get them in and slide them on the grass. Yeah, you're fly again. Rainbow's almost like, uh-oh. The other fly got around his fin. Got nice red stripes on.
Oh, he's beautiful.
Big, thick fish. Nice.
Very nice.
Thick rainbow. Get them off and get them back. Come on, buddy, you're going in. Take it easy. There you go. Get the mud off. Thank you. Go back and eat some bugs, real bugs. He's a little tired, but he's going to be okay. Boy, he was firm, too. His flesh is...
Nice fish. See that little Welsh pattern?
Yeah, that's deadly. That's a really sweet fly, Phil.
Yeah. Neat stuff.
Right off the bench of Charles Bowinski. Well, then you can either go out and get another one, or just sometimes it's nice to just step out and take a break and, relish the moment.